You're right.
Good afternoon. I'm now going to call the Wednesday, November 30th, 2022 meeting of the Norfolk County Commissioners into session. On Thursday, March 12th, 2020, Governor Charles Baker issued an order suspending certain provisions of the Mass Open Meeting Law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20. That order was active immediately and until it is rescinded or the state of emergency is terminated. On July 17th, 2022, by action of the legislature, the order was extended until March 31st, 2020. So we are alive and on Zoom today. So welcome. I'm going to ask everyone to join me in saluting the flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'll call the roll. Commissioner Stady.
Present.
Commissioner Collins. And Commissioner Shea is present. We have a quorum.
Do you want to make a motion to go into executive session?
We are going to go into, yes, Commissioner, go ahead.
All right, I make a motion that we go into executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, subsection 21, subsection A, subsection 3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating positions of the public body and the chair so declares. That's my motion.
Right. I'll second the motion. The chair has.
Motion made and seconded. I want to mention that after executive session, we will return to complete our regularly scheduled agenda for our regular county commissioners meeting. So we will go back into regular session.
And do you declare this?
I do so declare.
Okay, great.
Executive session, Commissioner Strady,
Yeah, we're going into
Yes.
executive session.
Commissioner Collins,
Yes.
and I'll vote yes. We are in
We'll see you
executive
guys in just a
session.
few.
Thank you.
That's better. Wait. Thinking away there. Another letter?
Okay, thank you.
And that's how you get in. You want to get your file cabinet?
Yes,
That's how you
please.
do it,
Yeah.
okay?
We're back on our regularly scheduled Wednesday, November 30th meeting.
Thank you.
We're on item number 4, Commissioners' minutes of the
Right.
executive session meeting of November 23rd for approval.
I'll make a motion. We approve the minutes of the executive session meeting of November 23rd, 2022, with the understanding that the minutes be held until the topic of the minutes is no longer privileged. It no longer needs to be privileged.
Right. Second.
Thank you.
Second that motion on the executive session.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Number 5, appointments. We have none. Number 6, public comment. At each of our meetings, we allow public comment. Has anyone notified you, Director Cronin?
No, sir.
Is there anyone in Zoom land that wants to comment today? Okay, last call for public comment. Number 7 is old business. We have none. Number 8 is personnel matters for consideration. Michelle has one for us. I don't.
We have a memo. She's gonna read this to you. Just give me 1 second.
Okay, and we have no blue papers today. That's an
Right. Yeah,
odd week.
it is. It is.
Everybody's been quiet.
Yeah. I just noticed that. There's no, nobody's returning.
Okay, we have one matter. from-
Resignation, movement. Quiet. All quiet on the Western Front. Great book. Could move it too.
Hello, Michelle.
All right, Michelle.
You're up. Number 8, personnel matter for consideration, vacation leave, Rule 1 memo of 11/2/22 for discussion and vote. You did provide us with that?
In a memo today, so the vacation rule 1 service as outlined below in the memo, which I can read, service for the purpose of vacation status only shall also mean service in the Commonwealth or in any political subdivision thereof prior to entry into the county service, provided that no break in service for 3 years or more occurred between such termination of employment and entrance into county service. In order to credit such prior service toward the establishment of his or her vacation status, a person must, 1, be employed by the county for a full year as of June 30th, and 2, Submit to the department head a sworn statement of such service executed by the appropriate official of the Commonwealth, which that's the memo you got on November 2nd. So we did review this. So the Vacation Rule 1 service as outlined, as I just read, we have to determine that said employee has been employed by the Commonwealth from 2014 until 2019, which would count as credible service. And it is my recommendation that said employee be granted an additional 5 days retro accrued as of July 1st, 2021, and 5 days accrued as of July 1st, 2022 to their current vacation accrual for FY23, and will accrue 15 days going forward until they reach the next vacation milestone. Any questions?
Yeah, I didn't get that memo. You might have emailed it after I'd left to come over here. So was that sent out?
This was part of
It
the
wasn't in
first memo
packet.
was,
That memo was not sent out with your packet.
Okay.
However, the matter was broached with the commissioners about a month ago.
Oh.
November 2nd.
When the employee approached us and we wanted
Okay.
time to settle back and look at the handbook, what
Okay.
the interpretation might be. And so consequently, we're bringing it forward now as an action item
Got it.
associated with the policy that already exists. Michelle's done the research on it.
Actually, that letter?
this is my memo.
Oh, your
but
memo? Your memo.
The letter that I'm referring to was given to all commissioners on November 2nd,
Okay.
at the meeting of November 2nd. I don't have a copy of that right now, but if you want me to go back to my office and get it, I can certainly do that.
I'm not sure if it's necessary. This means, obviously, if someone else came to us, if we hire someone that had other service, state, does that include a city or a town?
It's political
Okay,
subsidy.
okay.
Mhm.
And they were a planning director and they came here.
As long as there's as long as they come right from that employment to here and there's not a break in service of 3 or more years, yes, that's the caveat to it. And it's right here highlighted so people know.
Okay, and how long has this rule been in effect?
It's in the personnel book that we are currently working off of, so it's been in service
So
for
it's a long time,
quite a while.
but
Yeah.
we missed one.
Yes, I wasn't part of that onboarding, so I don't know what transpired in that conversation, but I
okay.
wasn't part of that,
Okay.
so I want to make this person whole. We would like to make this person
So do you
whole.
need a motion on this, Michelle?
So if someone comes from Canton or Dedham or any of our towns to the county, they're gonna get a credit now.
That's correct.
Okay, so quick question. We're working on the personnel book.
Mhm.
Is there any way to say this will be consistent with the whole personnel?
It's in the current personnel book.
But aren't we undergoing a revision on that and changing things?
Certainly, yeah.
Right, but we would include this.
1957.
Yeah, so I know that. No, I'm aware of that. So I'm saying, is that, we're reviewing that whole personnel book.
Mhm.
Is this going to fly in the face of what you might see happening?
No.
Or is this more of a modern, up-to-date approach? You see what I'm
This-
saying?
I will tell you, this condition is, the elements are the same when you get hired by the state. They
That's
will
very common.
recognize the reciprocity of your service
Okay,
with
fine.
political subdivisions.
All right, great.
And we'll see that carry through
That's,
to your
just wanna
point
make
on the new handbook.
this one's on the new book. Okay.
Yes, just so
Okay.
everyone knows, I did review this with other towns and municipalities within Norfolk County to see what procedure they follow, and it's pretty similar
All right, good
across the
job.
board.
So do you need a motion on this?
I would like a motion.
All right, I'll make a motion consistent with the correspondence from Michelle Babadini dated 11/30/22, vacation leave rule 1.
That be, to make that amend that to now part of our personnel
It's part of our current personnel. book.
personnel book. Okay, yep, second.
Motion made and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
It is unanimous, 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle.
I will.
Thank you.
All right.
9,
We'll look
payroll
at
and
the- I'll
expense
have a
warrants for
Yeah,
approval.
good. No, thank you. I just want to get in there. Yeah. I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, payroll?
Payroll and
Yes, sir.
expense warrants.
Yep, pleased to do it. All right, payroll warrant list for 11/30/22, Mr. Chairman, following items, we have 5. 23-22, I move approval of the payroll of the county in the amount of $141,468.05. So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
Second item, Mr. Chairman, 23-22, subsection 11, payroll of the school. I move approval of $336,953.77. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote. Next.
Third item, 11-05-23, expenses of the county, in the amount of $218,977.40. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
And then we have two opera awards. Very happy with this one. 23-20, move approval for a Canton Opera Award in the small amount of $1,100,000. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
And lastly, 23-20 Opera Award to Norfolk County. And that is in the amount of $192,000. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It
That
is a vote.
concludes the warrant.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Number 11, report on the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, which will include number 12, which is opera warrants for approval. So Director Mullen, 10 and 11. Director Cronin.
Thank you, Commissioner. Two items, as Commissioner Stady just announced for your consideration today. You've awarded Norfolk County premium pay to the tune of $192,000. This particular benefit comes by way of negotiations with the various unions. The county has been discussing contract negotiations with since February. These payments will be $2,000 per eligible employee. The final rules, I think I mentioned previously, includes payment to the lowest paid individuals first. That is an important criteria to remember. In other words, non-union individuals who may enjoy this benefit upon your vote down the road will have to wait for this benefit. The benefit has to go to the unions first. So immediately, this will include the maintenance contract, which has already been approved and ratified. And later today, when you ratify the engineers, they'll be put in the queue for payment against this benefit as well. One thing to point out, it does not include payment to certain individuals. I understand the commissioners have elected to opt out of this program after speaking with you individually. And also individuals making over 125,000, I think it's $607 annually, also are not eligible. So in total, there's about a half a dozen county employees, notwithstanding the schools who are not part of this element, who are not eligible because of their rate of pay. The premium pay benefit, as I mentioned, will be paid out within the next pay period. I think we're trying to get it out by the end of the pay period, the 22nd, if I'm not mistaken. Spoke to Joe this morning. He'll be scheduling that. Any questions on that?
Commissions. I do have a question. Go ahead.
They'll get that before the holiday, right?
The union
Union
people will,
people,
yes.
yeah.
The non-unions, I'm going to ask to vote on that sometime in January. We want to put some space between the non-union and the union people for premium pay.
So can I ask a question about the schools? Or is that
Sure.
inappropriate? So that takes care of all those people you outlined, but there might be some other people at the schools. Do we need another APRA grant to take care of them?
If the schools want to put forward a premium pay grant application, happy to work with them, but it would be a separate application.
Okay. Okay, good. Thank you.
The second grant award is to the,
I have one more question.
I beg your pardon, Commissioner.
Are we going to actually vote that on this? Or is it going to come under number 15? Or does it?
So yes, the ratification of the contracts triggers the payment of this benefit.
Okay.
You've already voted the money under number,
That's my first question.
under number 10.
My
So-
second question, and is I don't have
Excuse me.
any person in mind, but what if a person came to work here last week?
They're not eligible. I put forward a list to the Clifton Larson Group. This is retroactive to individuals who were employed as of July 1st. And
But they had to be here during the COVID.
they have to work a minimum number of 150 something hours.
Okay, that's the answer. Okay, I don't want to, that's fine.
So if any department heads have any questions about the eligibility of people that had been here or not here, have them call me directly.
But in general, it's everyone who was here.
Correct. Yep,
Except the 5 you mentioned in certain
correct.
departments.
That
Okay,
was the, yep.
I don't have another question.
Yeah, good.
Okay, so we're gonna deal with that at number 15.
Right, great.
Okay,
Opera number 118, as Commissioner Stady indicated, is a $1.1 million award to the town of Canton to upgrade the town-owned Moran water treatment facility, necessary due to heightened levels of PFAS found in certain town wells. All the wells servicing this treatment facility have tested positive for PFAS. 6 wells have tested above the 20 parts per trillion, and 1 well tested at 79.5 parts per trillion. These have been linked to adverse health outcomes. Mass DEP is proposing a limit of 20 parts per trillion in drinking water. The town of Canton intends to construct a granular activated carbon facility at this treatment facility. They are recognized by EPA as a reliable method of treating water to reduce PFAS levels. The proposed facility is eligible for financial assistance under EPA's Drinking Water State Revolving Fund Program because it is a drinking water treatment facility. Let's go on. The project is cost effective because it's important to an improvement to an existing facility as opposed to construction of a new facility. On June 22nd, 2020, the Canton Town Meeting approved $2.4 million in borrowing for this project. Your award today offsets the Canton cost of that to the tune of $1.1 billion.
I see. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, good. Good to see Canton on board getting some kind of money.
Yes. Regarding the rest of the updates on the American Rescue Plan Act, we're expecting a meeting of the four county ARPA coordinators. I think it's December 13th. I have to double check the date. We'll expect to have Bill Galvin on that call. We're going to talk a little bit about, as we turn the calendar, how to start managing a lot of the grants that have been awarded. I don't like to use the word clawback, but we need to start assessing how effective the communities are spending the money that we've awarded them. If we've awarded them $1 million and they've spent 900 and the project's closed, we want the money back. And it's time to start asking for that in the first half of 2023. So we'll introduce that in our upcoming conversation. So it's sort of the next level of grant management to make sure we optimize the grant funds that have been given to us.
At the same time that you're asking for the money back, you can explain to them that they still have that much more to go in their allotment.
That's right. This morning I got an email from Norwood, for example, that you awarded a grant to them for public health nursing contract services. They have chosen not to do that grant.
Oh, okay.
It's about a $239,000 grant. The money, they want to send it back. And to your point, Peter, just reappropriated to a new eligible expense under their eligible amount. So yeah, we're in that space and we want to help them out. So that process of kind of clarifying their intended use and optimizing the spending will start right after the new year. All right.
Yep.
That is all I have on ARPA, Mr. Chairman.
Good.
Okay. Bid openings, we had none today. Contract awards, we have none. In your packet is a list, number 14, calendar year 2023 holiday schedule for approval. Each year, the commission approved the holiday schedule for when we are open, et cetera, for the whole year. And then we post it on our board. Send it out.
Mr. Chairman, through you, if I may, the commissioners will observe June 19th, 2023 as Juneteenth. This holiday has been negotiated in all the contracts now. And the commissioners adopted that particular holiday for FY for 2023 already.
Did it take the place of anything else? No.
No, sir.
This Columbus Day was never an official holiday anyway.
Didn't we already vote this? 'Cause I made a couple of comments on it.
For
Probably
2020, for Juneteenth, you did.
Yeah.
We're just reflecting it now on the official calendar listing for 2020.
Okay. Okay.
Yes,
Plus,
sir.
you probably remember last year's. I mean, we did it last November too.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, excellent. Yeah. So do you need a vote to
Yes, sir.
authorize the calendar?
Yes, sir.
All right, move to approve the
Can I-
calendar year 2023 holiday schedule for approval.
Sorry.
County, Norfolk County.
Motion made and
Can I
seconded
get a
to
copy of that?
You can have that.
approve the 2023 calendar year holidays and dates of closure. This is for all departments and it'll be posted. It has some explanations, if things fall on Saturday, what happens, if they fall on Sunday, what happens, et cetera.
Mhm.
Pretty much standard stuff. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. 23 days. 20, is that 23, is that right? Okay. Number 15,
All right.
ratification of a memorandum of agreement between the Norfolk County Commissioners and the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, AFL-CIO Council 93, or Local 2417 Engineering Unit. In front of you, we have a one-page document. We just had, where is it? Oh, I have it.
So that's the memorandum of understanding. There are 2 pages, Mr. Chairman.
Right.
The first is a side letter to discuss the commitment by the county to provide rapid test exams to the engineering unit
Okay.
until June 30th, 2025. And the rest is the updated contract for the engineers through the same time. Would you like me, Mr. Chairman, to go through the highlights of this agreement?
Yes, I would.
Thank you. So the Norfolk County Engineering Unit and the county negotiation team have concluded with an agreement that would bring updates to the existing contract, including Article 2, grievance and arbitration will now be 6 days of written submission of the grievance unless both parties agree to an extension. The county engineer and his or her designee shall give his or her decision in writing within 6 calendar days of the conference, not counting the day said conference took place. It includes the addition, as I just mentioned, of the new Juneteenth Independence Day holiday. Article 10, vacation accrual. These vacation milestones when met will be awarded on the employee's anniversary date and the fiscal year becomes effective. Week modification. Direct deposit will now be required effective July 1st, 2023 for all employees in the engineering unit that they will receive their pay advice via direct deposit and prior to June 30th, 2022 may opt out of this requirement. Longevity pay was increased by $100 between July 1st, 2022 and July 1st, 2023, by $50 between July 1st, 2023 and July 1st, 2024, and an additional $50 between July 1st, 2024 and June 30th, 2025. We are now adopting the mileage reimbursement rate as set by the IRS, which is a standard approach in most contracts these days. We upgraded the clothing allowance to $615 per year.
Where'd that come from?
Yes, it's part of the whole mix here. Our wages that we agreed to include cost of living adjustments of 2.75, 2.5, and 2.25 for the respective years of 22, 23, and 24. As I mentioned earlier, one of the items that we worked hard on was creativity. We really stressed the opportunity here to help the engineers understand that we want to make sure that they're safe performing their role in the field, especially. And while, from a hazardous perspective, we see more of that in the maintenance world, we still recognize that the engineers need to operate in more of a safe environment. And for that reason, we're providing them a $500 safety training stipend for all personal expenses, including mileage training events, which up till now has been an issue. And finally, as you earlier remarked or voted on, a $2,000 one-time premium stipend to be paid within 30 days of the ratification in one lump sum. So these terms are unique to the engineering department, similar to the ones that you've already seen under maintenance. And before you was a request to approve this memorandum of agreement so that we can move to finalize the contracts and have it before you for signature shortly.
Commissioners, any further questions?
Solid job, really good. Good for both.
Mike Jardin came in yesterday and said the same thing. He feels like it was a very, very thorough process. He was appreciative of all the work we put into it. Kevin Fallon, the president, also added his compliments to Michelle and the management team on the progress we made to give a fair and professional process. It's rightful outcome. So yeah, they're very appreciative.
Any other questions, commissioners? We need a vote to adopt the memorandum of agreement as stated, correct?
Yes, sir.
Vote to me?
Yeah,
Oh,
you wanna make
yes,
a
sir.
motion?
sure. Move this day to the commissioners vote to adopt the memorandum of agreement, a side letter agreement with the Norfolk County Engineers Unit, ASME Council 93, Local 2417, and said agreement incorporating all the terms as outlined and presented by the director and contained in this document herein.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
It is official. First one.
Great.
Thank you, commissioners.
Congratulations, everybody.
Thank you.
So we have one left. That's all we have left, right?
That's right.
Okay.
We did this for the engineer, for the maintenance, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
No.
Maintenance is done. Engineer's done, just registry.
One more is done, okay.
All right.
Number 16, report of the county director.
Thank you, Commissioner. A few items for your consideration. Just a quick update. This past week, we held our third meeting with the Department of Capital Asset Management and Maintenance to the state to discuss the Quincy District Court conveyance. As the commissioners may recall, an appraisal was done of that property. The county came up with a proposed value. The Commonwealth has its own opinion of value. We, not surprisingly, have a difference of opinion. But one of the quick updates we wanted to share with DCAM this week, and we did, was we allowed their appraiser and our appraiser to have a conversation by themselves about their approach to the value calculation. And one of the things that is apparent is the state appraiser, which got high praise from our appraiser, John Powell, who works for Cusack Associates, said he's a very polite, professional individual. He understood his craft. But one of the things that appraisers do when they look at properties is understand the use path. You, as you understand from general law, are obligated to produce an appraisal based on fair market value. And that's what the Cusack Associates produce for us. The state, on the other hand, is recognizing a different use path, which is more, in my terms, what I would call public good. They don't see this as a commercial property that they're buying at, highest and best use. They expect government to government interactions to be more recognize, I should say, more of the public good exercise. They produce to us a list of properties that they have worked with to sell to municipalities, and how the values that were, assessed at one level eventually come down to the public good argument get suppressed. What we observed is that traditionally the state takes about 30% off of the proposed rate because of the public good use. I had a problem with a lot of the comparisons of the properties that they were producing. Commissioner Stady, I know you're quite familiar through your zoning experience and what's known as an arm's length transaction, and none of them appear to be anything related to an arm's length transaction. These are government to government transactions where community X and the state may have an understanding that they're going to agree on a property transaction, but there could be other alternative settlements or terms that you don't see. That's very, very typical in most public transactions. So we explained to them that we would very much like to see evidence of transactions where the state is buying property, not selling it. They could not give us any. They talked about one, and I'm not going to get into the details because they asked us to keep it confidential.
Right.
And it was interesting. But under that particular transaction, again, it would appear as though there's more than meets the eye. And I don't know if it's an arm's length transaction between this municipality and its sale of the property to the state. It's questionable. So Scott basically, and I called a timeout. We said, look, we really want to move along here. We understand the nature of this project and how important it is to the trial courts. We don't want to be seen as being obstructionist or delaying, but we need to understand more clearly what these comps are, because the commissioners have a legal obligation, thank you, to see to it that fair market value is attained. And what that fair market value will be your call. So we're making incremental progress. It's very professional dialogue. These people they do this all the time. They're trying to help us along, but we're holding our ground and letting them know that the property will be conveyed to the Commonwealth based on fair market value terms. And when we get there, we'll inform them. So there was no additional exchange of value. I want to be clear. We started off with our numbers and both sides have stayed there. The state told us by the time we see them, likely in January, they may have sharpened their pencils. So we're expecting to see a different number. Scott and I, in the meantime, are going to try to go back to, I'll contact Cusack and see if they can do some work on transactions within MLS that indicate where the state purchased something, and we'll see how that plays out. So we'll do our own homework. That's our approach. That's your update. Progress, incremental, glacial.
It's a very difficult area, and it can be very gray and confusing because, from being around politics too, the state has different pockets and different places to put money, and they may take a property or buy a property and then make it up to the town in some other way, perhaps increasing local aid or doing something else that might, we don't have those things available to us. We really don't. So to me and to us, I would hope we need this property to be adjusted fairly and get a fair price. So do a good job, keep it up and see what happens. Interesting. They did come up with a comp though on selling, right? I'm saying, I mean, I'm buying.
And he,
I'm buying.
and Stephen Andrews is the main negotiator. He admitted, he said, we just don't buy a lot of property because we are already the largest landowner in Massachusetts.
Mhm.
If you want to build something, we have the space and we'll find it.
Mhm.
They're not usually buyers. They're almost always sellers. It's the nature of their business. And I
Right.
think he's right.
Well, see what happens.
And that was one of the sticking points because he said, you know, all transactions are unique. And I said, I tend to agree with you. That makes this one unique.
Right.
So let's not compare us to, you know,
Right.
a transaction that includes you selling.
Right. Right. Very good.
It's
Right.
fun.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of fun. So that is your update on Quincy. All set? Next item,
Report of the county director.
yeah, so regarding the next item, just a reminder to department heads, we're waiting any information relative to supplemental needs and or transfers by December 7th. We'll be utilizing that information to provide to this board 2 weeks from today for your approval and in consideration of what the advisory board will look at on the 21st. So just as a broad stroke, there are a couple of milestones. I just want to make sure the commissioners see what's coming up. I know it's a holiday season. So on December 7th, you will vote potentially the non-union COLAs. That is one of the things that is associated with the maintenance and engineering contracts. You have approved the contracts. You will now need to approve the non-union COLAs if you choose. I understand, speaking with Commissioner Collins, that in the past, we have waited for the non-union COLAs to be approved until all the contracts were done. We don't know how long it will take the registry to be in that position, so I want to give the commissioners an opportunity to perhaps do that next week if you're inclined. So I'll need to get a sense from you now as if you want to do non-union COLAs next week for all county non-union employees, except obviously the registry union employees, or any other terms you wish to tell
Well,
me.
the trustees are scheduled for a meeting, I think it's the 14th.
Correct.
I have the wrong date. Am I right? The
Correct.
14th?
That's correct.
So we couldn't be included in that.
It could be included in if we voted next week.
We'd have to have a joint trustee meeting then next week. We'd have to, right, is what you're saying? Special meeting?
I'm at a loss as to the connection with the trustees and the non-union COLAs for the county employees.
Yeah, that's different. So you could do a COLA for the non-union employees. It could be just countywide. It doesn't necessarily have to be for the school separate.
Yeah.
It could just be
They've been
countywide.
treated differently because the trustees vote that.
Well, we could do one for everyone except the school people. Right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because the trustees are voting that separately. And that'll be before you on the 14th, right, John?
What's the question?
The
of-
non-union COLAs for school employees.
Yes, that will be part of our budget proposal on the 14th.
On the 14th, okay.
All right, yeah, so, okay, so I see what you're saying, Dick. So,
See what I'm saying?
so maybe it'd be the non-union is excluding the school.
Right.
Okay.
You were saying all county. I thought maybe I misheard you.
I inherently excluded the schools,
Right,
but
so,
thank you for the
so be
clarification.
all non-union except for the school people would be next week,
If that's your choice.
which is the 7th.
Yep.
And then the 14th would be on the trustee schedule. We're going to be
For the school.
doing that. Okay.
So
By the
that's.
way, see, jumping ahead, on the 21st, has a notice been sent out to the advisory board people as to what it is? Have we
One notice
decided
has
on
been
that?
sent and a reminder went out today.
Okay. Are we going to have it at the Aggie School?
We are.
We are. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
I think that's an in-person meeting, or is it both?
We're setting it up to be a hybrid.
Hybrid? Okay.
Okay.
So we're gonna put it on.
Yeah. Right.
So you would like to see numbers next week to approve non-union COLAs for all county employees, excluding obviously the registry,
Right.
union people, and
And schools.
schools.
Right.
So we can do
Right.
that.
Okay.
Have those numbers. On the 14th, you'll be approving the supplemental proposal that I'll bring forward to you, as well as any transfers that are being recommended by our departments. There's a few out there for existing FY23 budgets. And as you pointed out, Commissioner, that's also the evening of your trustee meeting.
Trustee meeting.
On the 21st, you have an advisory board meeting at the Aggie Finance Committee at 6, AB at 7. We also are going to jump into a separate task here, but because we're talking calendars, I would like to recommend that the commissioners embrace December 21st as a office holiday party date. You'll be here, presumably after your meeting, we can enjoy a gift swap, or maybe we'll look at some gifts among ourselves.
It's Davy sauce.
I'm ready. I've been waiting all year.
If that's a date that works for you, we can make arrangements that the food brought in.
Stevie,
Um,
Stevie's revenge.
I'll be happy to coordinate that. If that's, if you okay with the
Absolutely.
21st?
Wouldn't miss it for anything.
The Stady
Even if it's a
spaghetti
blizzard,
sauce.
I'm coming over.
Okay.
I'll break out the old Wrangler. I'll be
just-
here.
At the risk of repeating myself, also, I'm looking at pulsing the premium pay for non-union staff somewhere between January 21st and February 21st. Again, I wanted to separate the time period between when the unions get it and when the non-unions didn't, to adhere to the final rule stipulations.
May I ask a quick question? Well, if
Commissioner
we,
Slater.
so if the trustees vote on the 14th for the non-union situation,
Yeah.
right? Would we be able to get that on for action for the advisory board, the 21st?
Yes.
And do we have to also then put it on our agenda on the 21st to have a vote as well? Do you understand what I'm saying? Because there's a trustee and there's commissioners. There's always that screwy two hats. So we'd have to schedule that as part of our meeting here, the 21st.
Yes,
Am I right on that?
Yes.
Okay, and then we go to the advisory board.
Yep. as well as any modifications that have to be made between December 14th and the vote you take. We use that week to clean up things.
Okay,
The FinCom, they'd be okay with that. So
think they'd be okay
Yeah.
with it?
you might want to give them a heads up that it's coming to the FinCom anyway.
Just to give me,
They know that.
Okay.
We've already talked about that.
okay,
We'll be seeing them 6 o'clock that night.
all right,
They're aware.
all right, good.
One other item yesterday, Bill Buckley and I joined John Martin and senior management staff at the schools to discuss the county's legislative breakfast, tentatively scheduled for the first week in April 2023.
Oh.
This would be to honor Speaker Mariano. The schools were very gracious, understanding sort of logistics of having a breakfast that could number well over 50 to 100 people. They've got a school to run, so they're going to coordinate, obviously, having these legislators and other dignitaries on site while serving breakfast at the same time. So the logistics will all be worked out by the first week in April. This is tentative based on what the speaker's availability is. Bill Buckley will be contacting, or actually, I think you'll be contacting the speaker's office to find out what his availability is.
I know that there'll be a lot of invites that go out, but I'd like to invite the past county directors.
Okay.
And Tammy also, she was interested in coming.
That is all I have. Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Number 17. Emergency item or topics that the chair did not readily anticipate. I have none.
No, sir.
Usually we have something, but
Nothing, sir.
number 18, adjournment.
I move, Mr. Chairman, we adjourn at 2:26.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.